Okay, 119 days out from the meet, which feels really freaking close with how bad squats went last week. And what I need to remember with that is the only way we're going to get squats to be where they need to be by meet day isn't by forcing weight on the bar. It is doing the right amount of work for where I currently am. So today, the only goal is to do the right amount of work for where I currently am. So we're going to be continuing with the toned down version of the non-conjugate rotation that I run for the team. Non-conjugate being concurrent but non-conjugate for people that need a little bit more touching on the comp lifts, which I definitely fall into that category right now. And last week did not pan out super well because last week walking into the gym, like I had a massive back pump before I even got to the gym. Like just walking through this giant ass parking lot, back was blowing to shit. Then general warm up, back was blowing even more to shit. And then by the time I got to squats, I felt absolutely useless. But the good news is that today, with adding back in the harder cardio, 0 back pumps walking in the gym, which is good. 0 back pumps through the general warm-ups, which is also good. But I mean, that should be the expectation. So hoping that we can continue the trend of having the 0 back pumps and getting through the squats a whole lot better than we did last week. It's just some like anti-smell sports equipment spray that I got off Amazon that makes the knee sleeves smell less terrible, but it also provides a little bit of lubrication to get them on when they're tight. And the other good news with the addition of the hard cardio again is that squat days, deadlift days right now, they're high days on the Justin Harris carb cycling plan that I am running. And with last week feeling like shit, another part of the reason other than the back pumps is like having 800 grams of carbs pre-training on a Saturday morning. Like I just felt like I was digesting a shit ton of food and I just felt like super sluggish, like post-Thanksgiving, pig out, needing to take a nap type feels. And with the addition of cardio, handling the food so much better, not sluggish, absolutely awake, didn't struggle to get the meals in at all. So yeah, a lot more optimistic than I was last week, but hopefully I can squat better, then I can get knee sleeves over my foot. So we'll do our best with that. I am nervous for when I get closer to the meet and I have to put the not bagged out and tighter A7s on because the hinges are this sticky. We might be in trouble. Also excited to see if the slightly higher rack height that we ran on Wednesday for the tempos solves a bit of unrack issues, almost overhinging that I was having on last Saturday. So waiting for hole 12. Lots of pumps to get there from Miana's diminutive rack height. So there we go. And loading plan for today is going to be 2 sets of 4 at around a 6 RPE. So we're just going to run 4s the whole way up. Feels pretty okay. And I think like the problem with the rack height being a bit too low last week, well, it wasn't too low when I was a skinny little 230 pounder not very long ago, but now that I'm kicking the 270s, it's like my upper back got some increased thickness, which means that that low pick, I was kind of over pre-hinging at the squat. And I think that pre-hinge is very important for a squat because we want to be able to get into our hips, but I was so hinged that I was having trouble getting enough forward knee travel, and this feels so much more natural. And as far as those 4s go, have no real plan in terms of loading, just gonna try to make good choices. But to help with making better choices in loading and not getting surprised by a jump that used to be small, catching up and surprising me, gonna make sure to take smaller jumps than I want to after these initial warm-ups. Shit. Feels like me though, so 3 will be a reasonable jump. Like we don't have to take small jumps to get to 3 plates. And for that 3, putting the belt on because number 1, I'm a pansy, but number 2, with the weight gain and waist size growing, I want to get a chance to make sure I'm in the right hole before I need to make sure I'm in the right hole. And glad I put the belt on for that one because it felt good just standing here, but I think I can afford to run a hole tighter for the next jump. Was going to say for 4 plates, but remember what we talked about before. I haven't earned the right to make that jump yet, so we're gonna go 3 in a yellow just to make sure everything's sorted. Okay, gonna put the belt a hole tighter so it feels like I can actually push into it a little bit better. And like the mind fuck is that when I'm leaner than this, like I have to run the belt in a way that feels looser because there's less squish between me and the belt. But like as soon as there's more squish, I have to run it so it feels tighter so I can squish into it, I guess. That made sense, right?
It does.
Okay, good. And target for this one is be assertive enough with it that I know we can take at least one more little jump. What the fuck is wrong with me? Never mind, because that both felt and moved freaking terribly. So I think we're going to take a second set there and see if we can clean it up a little bit. I really don't know what is wrong with me or what I need to do better right now, because that just really didn't feel good and didn't feel like there was any single thing going on. Looking at the video, it doesn't look like there's any single thing going on. It's just that I probably need to relearn how to squat. So that's why I will not go up and do a better job or something. Okay, belts, another hole tighter. Think I got a strategy here, so let's see if it pans out.
Squat. Okay.
Too much love. You always gonna do things like that. I mean, how motherfucking pay attention to y'all don't real.
Head. Yep.
How many George you gonna try to put us in? You know what I'm saying?
That was better. Yeah. See, I think some of that was the belt tightness, but the other thing that I was really trying to fight fucking harder for was squeezing my glutes hard off the pick, getting the hips through a little bit more, and then trying to use the hips to lever me into the legs, and it was less pathetic, so I'm okay with that. And it is very frustrating because the story I was telling myself through the entire cut when squats were feeling worse and worse and worse and worse is that as soon as I put food back in, they'd start to feel normal again. And at the end of the cut, like I did kind of finally figure it out the groove and get it back. First session with the food back in, I was like, holy shit, we feel strong. And it's just been freaking frustrating ever since that because it's just not clicking and not working and doesn't feel like me. And I think a big chunk of that is everything that I learned when I was lighter, like it doesn't really apply to Seth in the 270s. I just gotta figure out how to act like Seth in 270s again. So I think what we're gonna do here is take another set at the 3 in a yellow, see if we can do a little bit better again, because I mean it's already better than last week. I just need to keep reestablishing that groove, keep figuring it out, and if I can do that, I know weight is going to come. We just need to be patient to let the weight come, which does suck, to be clear, but it is what needs to be done right now. So time to start acting like myself here.
What? Yep. Yep.
Two or more.
That's 10.
Yep. Kind of felt like I was starting to figure it out there, so wanted to keep going to maybe figure it out, and much happier with that than the previous set, so mission accomplished. And what that was is like the eccentric sequencing just applied a little bit more like leg curl tension, and that let me get rid of that bit of chatter on the like third of the way down point. And yeah, I gotta just remember that harder leg curl in, and we should be good to go in the future.
And as much as I want to panic and quit with squats feeling this bad at 17 weeks out, I know that I am figuring it out. And thinking back to my first 2K total in sleeves, at 17 weeks out, it looked a whole lot worse than this because at 20 weeks out, I took way too wide of a stance. Like I stumbled in my walkout, got way too wide on a third attempt squat at a meet, and ripped off my adductor longus, my adductor brevis, my pectineus, and my rectus abdominis off the left side of my pelvis. So when I was 17 weeks out from my first 2K total, I hadn't even gotten back to squatting 135 yet, and I still turned that into a 793 squat on the platform. And all I need to remember right now is number one, going that far down in body weight and then rebounding back up as aggressively as I did. Like, I've never done it before. I haven't experienced this. I didn't treat it the way that I probably should have, and I'm going to have to learn from it, and I'm going to have to learn as I go. Number two, I need to trust myself and trust the process because every bad session like this is a learning opportunity that is helping me to refine the work that I'm doing in order to keep pushing myself in the right direction. And I know that if I keep doing that, keep learning and keep figuring it out as I go, we're going to have a pretty damn good total on meet day. And because I have come back from worse than this, because I have figured out the things that I have, I am 100% confident that no matter what you are stuck with in your training, I'm going to be able to help you. And that is why I'm running the team, because it is a place where you get to post all of your training, get daily individualized coaching directly from me on every single thing that you're doing. We're going to set you up with programming to fit your needs. We're going to make sure you're applying the right cues and right technique to your lifts. And we're going to get you doing the right accessory work to build up your weak points. And because the team is so freaking sick and I want people in there for the long haul, we're running a 50% off sale on annual memberships through the month of August. And if you sign up annually, we're going to send you a team shirt absolutely for free.
And what I'm thinking off of that is I have been running the hack squat here, which I really do like. But the thing is with the hack squat, the squat issue feels less like it is a strength thing right now. Like obviously strength is a pretty large problem, but I think the main problem is position and tension. And the hack squat, well, it's been, when I have been able to push it, it's been feeling pretty damn good. So I'm cheating away from that proper tension that I need on my squat. So instead of the hack, we're going to try a fronty so that we can't cheat away from that ham tension that we need. And it has been so freaking long since I front squatted. This may be a shit show, so hopefully it's entertaining at least. Felt kind of decent. So we'll do our best to not embarrass myself here at 235. I think the biggest thing that felt weird on that first set was shelves did not feel perfect, so try to find a little bit more protraction, as well as try to fight through that chatter a little bit harder. And that felt good enough that we'll run another, but bad enough that I'm glad I made the decision to run fronties, and we'll see if we can clean her up a little bit. And as much as I'm unhappy with how the 235 feels here, in a way it does make me happy because the 235 feels this bad and we make it better, like it's gonna do what we need to do on squats, so let's try to do a little bit better yet this set. more okay with that one. And still not good, but give me 6 weeks and it'll be a whole lot better. And now for the sake of refining that floor push skill on deadlifts, we're gonna run the Boruses again. But unlike last week, we're gonna go a little bit heavier and run a little bit less volume just to make that push a little bit more realistic. And very hopeful that the lack of back pump continues through these, because last week it was freaking brutal. And I mean, if we do blow up, that just means I need to push the cardio a little bit harder again this week. And in case you didn't watch last week, what I'm running here is 2 leg presses to the knee, and you'll see what I mean by the leg press. And then 1 full rep, and that makes one of the reps in the set. And again, the hope is that having more weight makes that leg press feel a little bit more natural, so we'll go 3. Okay, so 5 dubs here of the 2 halves and 1 full rep. And what I'm trying to be mindful of is when I was editing the Wednesday vlog, I noticed I was going to the bar a little bit soft. And what I mean by that is I was like getting my left hand on, not really pulling into it, letting the brace off, and then setting the right, then trying to recollect. And when I was running the hook grip, like I get the left hand on, set the hook pre-tension, and then like pull my right hand to the bar, and that helped that no pump set feel so much tighter. So we're gonna actually like pull into the bar when we get the left hand on and pull us down with the righty. So hopefully it works out. Felt good. Also, gotta say, so freaking nice not having my low back blown to shit doing this. Kind of route us doing on that first rep, so we'll do better next set. Round 3. And need a little bit more patience into the push on this 4th one. That one was a little better. And last set here, let's make sure she's good. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And so much freaking better than last week on the back pump front. Like, I mean, infinitely better, because last week we had infinity back pump, and today we have 0. So yeah, stoked. And I was kind of thinking I'd be able to run the entire session without needing to come out to the front side of the gym, but there's a fitness class that was using the GHR, so we're running Nordics in its place, which will probably be good for me because these are much harder on me. I think my head might go out of frame, but whatever. We've committed to the set, so we'll get it done. Can't tell if my head's in frame or not. The camera's too far away. And I'm thinking we're going to be able to pull off dropping her a notch at least, so we'll drop her a notch at least. 2 notches for a good time. Didn't move the camera because I should be lower for this set with the bench being lower, but goal here is to not have to cheat the ever-living shit out of it. Acceptable level of cheating. And I think that was good enough that we're gonna drop her down and see if we can do it without being terrible. And if we can get at least a couple here at my current body weight, I will be a happy boy. So that's the goal. Kind of sucks, but I'm okay with it. And we ran out of juice. And like much harder than a GHR, but also much more fun, probably due to the hardness. So I think we're gonna keep on that for at least a little while here. And before we wander back to the fun side of the gym, we're gonna jam in those bench specific rows again. But like the vlog does not do the size of this building justice, because like Nordic bench way over there against that wall, and then powerlifting section is way over there around the corner in another room. So I got a lot of steps here. But what's going to make this row bench specific is that as I'm pulling, trying to keep a really tall chest, spread elbows, keep scaps low, and this feels pretty much like I want my bench eccentric to feel, so it should hopefully help with that pull into the bottom. And because we're trying to get it to carry over to that pull into the bottom bench, making sure to pause at the peak contraction. And I think with how that felt, we should be good to go up a little bit for round 2. So let's crank. Yeah, that's good enough to get the job done. And now to get 1,000 steps in to prime me for the part of the workout I've been looking forward to the least of the whole session. And I really don't want to do this, but I also want to make sure that when I do get the groove figured out, we are strong enough to squat a squat PR, so I am gonna do this. 3 plates this time, so we get a nice balance of getting enough reps to get the back in shape, but not so many reps that deadlifts suck on Wednesday. Back pumped, but not crippling, so yay cardio. And round 2 here. A little more back pump that set. Glad that bullshit is over. And what I was thinking with that chatter on squats is that it was an ab problem. And I do think that was partially right, because we started cranking abs harder, it did get better. Joel said in the vlog. But what I'm thinking now with that chatter moving to a lower spot in the range of motion is that I haven't really been cranking hip flexors all that hard. So we're gonna crank hip flexors a little bit harder here. And it's been a little while since I've run this. Gotta slide the bench way back. As I was saying, it's been a little while since I've run this, and I have no idea how heavy or lack thereof this cable tower is going to feel, so we will start light, see how it does, and like, see that chatter kind of happening same point as the squat? This was the right call, so we're going to put my weight on and run it. And like, you can do this on the floor, but doing it with the bench just makes it so much easier to get in and out of. Plus, if the cable's low, you can get a little bit more hip extension than you would off the floor, so bench works. What I'm trying to do is like dead bug into the pad as I'm pulling as well to anchor pelvis. And yeah, this is way harder than it used to be, so we got to build it up. Embarrassing. And going a little bit more weight on the stack for round 2. Feels like it's going to be heavier than I wanted to already, so yay. That is so freaking bad, which makes me very glad that I made this call, because we're going to have to keep pushing the ab work, but we're going to start pushing this again, and I'm hoping that completes the bracing picture. And even if I was very unhappy in the moment with weight on the squat bar and how that first set felt, I'd say very productive training session, because we did take a step forward in figuring out that groove, and we did figure out what we need to be building up in order to make that chatter go away, and so we can do better with the groove. And I think if we can make those fronts a whole lot better, make those hip flexor raises a whole lot better, squats should also get a whole lot better along with it. And like, I used to put such a freaking high priority on hip flexor training just for that pull into the bottom sensation. And since coming here, like, with how busy the gym is, with where the cable towers are, it is a little bit inconvenient to set up the hip flexor raises, but not being inconvenient should not be a reason not to do them. And I'm realizing that not doing them for so long was a little bit of a mistake. And like, I have been doing the band, but the band, easier setup, but it's an easier setup and it's also easier to do. And with the problem where it is, like, I'm just not loading it enough in the range where I'm having the issues. And I think the cable is going to solve that problem very effectively for me. And like, if you're having an issue with a lift, like, just getting upset with it isn't going to make it better. What we need to be doing is thinking about, like, okay, why is that problem happening? What can we use to build up strength and coordination in that position so we can get rid of the problem? And I think the front squat hip flexor raise combo should be very good for that. So as much as they were not fun to do today, I am very glad that we brought them into the picture, because if we can make them better, well, it's just going to get better. So we're going to do that. I'm just watching over there because there's some guy doing like delt raises with the spike strap, because I left the spike strap on the cable and he's clanking the machine, and it's kind of funny looking. But anyways, I think that's what I got for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry that squats are sad, but they will be less sad if we continue doing the right work. And I am excited to continue that process. So peace out. Have a good night, and I will see you in the team.